Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is Wednesday at 4 p.m., and you know what that means. It is time for your weekly episode of Debate Wars, starring me, your host, John Debate, followed by my co-host, Bart Jones.
Yo.
Today, we actually have a very special guest. We have a Dr. Vaughn Scribner, a professor here at UCA. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Vaughn. I've been at UCA now for 10 years. I do early American history. I've written a few books. One of them is about I don't believe in mer people, but one of them is about mer people's deep history. I wrote a book on taverns, the American Revolution. So I like to do lots of ancient history stuff. So I'm ready for this, I think.
This is I guess I should go ahead and tell y'all, but this week we are actually doing which ancient civilization we believed was the most advanced for their time, and really who really had it going, like who had the motion. All right. Obviously, you know me. I'm big on the Mesoamericas. So I will be representing the Mayas, the Incas, and the Aztecs. That would be my civilizations of choice. And what about you? What about you, Doctor?
You know, I was telling you this beforehand. I think we just need to think about what you even mean by civilization in the first place. Like, what's your definition of civilization?
I think a civilization is a group of people that became independent and kind of had they had towns, they had leaders, they had armies, just like they had their own culture. Really, I think a civilization is defined as somebody who has like a culture, and that you can like look back on in time and remember them as like an individual group. So
do you think it's a subjective or an objective thing? Is it because I think about this a lot. Doesn't everyone always kind of think they're civilized? Do you think there's any group of people who are like, yeah, we're not really a civilization, we're not civilized?
I mean, I guess if you look at it like that, I don't think being civil necessarily makes them a civilization. I think a civilization really at the end of the day boils down to a group of people that fall under the same like leadership, and just like that. What do you think, Bart?
I don't know, man. When you think of like a civilized person, you think somebody that's like groomsome, they don't think themselves as dirty, you know what I'm saying? Like just like somebody that can hold themselves up well, like, and then you look at other people and you're just like, I'm trying to see where I'm trying to get here. But like I know what I'm saying, like civilized, somebody that's holding himself up well. And then you think of uncivilized person is just like somebody that's like seems beneath them. But like I feel like everybody has their own definition of civilization when it comes to that, because everybody comes from a different background. A farmer could be more civilized than somebody that actually lives in like a city. But like that's just how I think of things. Like everything has its own background. Not everything has one simple definition to it.
I feel like civilization, it falls among that, but I don't know, I just feel like civilization as a term, if we separate it from like the words it was built off of, like civil,
right.
I feel like it alone has a very definitive meaning. But then again, I'm not, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
of course.
No, I think, and you guys are both giving kind of this very traditional narrative of civilization that's been going on for a long time, and it's kind of really shaped the way we think about history. Classically, civilization you have this trajectory where it starts off with like small roving bands of people, and they eventually come together and grow together more, and then they get agriculture usually, and then that helps them build these city-states. But there's this really interesting book that just came out a couple of years ago called The Dawn of Everything, and it's written by an anarchist and an archaeologist, and they really challenge this whole kind of narrative we have of what it means to be a civilization. And they have all this records, all this, analysis and, research from deep in history, where they're showing basically that that's an assumption that's not totally correct. In fact, what they argue is that our ideas of civilization that we have today, and this idea of like a trajectory, actually goes back to the 18th century during the Enlightenment, when Europeans basically get their feelings hurt by Native Americans. Because remember, when Europeans came across Native Americans, they're always trying to push Native Americans down. Like, you guys are savages, you're either noble or ignoble savages. But then when Native Americans are coming over to Europe too, because remember, the Europeans didn't just discover the Native Americans. The Native Americans discovered them at the same time.
Yeah.
And thousands of Native Americans go across the Atlantic. And when they're going to European cities, they're like, this place kind of sucks. Like, what are you guys talking about? You're saying you're so much better than us, but you're obsessed with all these politics. You have so much inequality. We're obsessed with money. We take care of each other. We have big cities too. And so a lot of these Enlightenment philosophers like Rousseau and Hobbes start to kind of get their feelings hurt, and they start to create this new idea of what civilization means, and they try to put native peoples in the past, basically. So if you kind of recognize that as this, our ideas of civilization coming from indigenous critiques of Europeans, it changes kind of everything. And then if you really start to come looking at like what civilization means, it's way broader than we've really looked at. So I'm sure you guys have always thought, and I was the same way, this is something I've been thinking about a lot. Like, you think of like, oh, you need to have large farming, agriculture, and then you can have this big civilization. But what they've shown is like people played around with agriculture for a long time. They had agriculture, but they didn't rely on it totally. They literally have like little play gardens and stuff. Same with like leadership. You said leadership a lot of times. People have played with this idea of leadership for a long time. So they'd be like, okay, well, we need a leader during this certain time of the year when we really have to like interact with other tribes and things, but we don't really need a leader the rest of the time. So we'll just like let you be our leader for a month, but then you're out. And the leader didn't have any real power to try to stop that. Sometimes leaders would try to like claw power away, but a lot of times people are like, no, we don't really want that. So it's like it's not this perfect trajectory, this linear trajectory that we've thought about it as. So this idea of the linear progression is a myth created in the Enlightenment and then perpetuated by modern anthropology. This idea of like from primitive to civilized, it's really one more of experimentation, flexibility, diversity of experience. And like, so the big thing, and then I'll let you guys talk. The big thing I always tell my students is, and the thing I think about a lot is, people haven't changed, the world we live in has. So people living 10,000 years ago, they were just like us. Like, they didn't dress the same. They weren't sitting in some studio, but they worried about the same stuff we did. They wanted to have fun. They got mad at each other. They were petty. Just the world's changed around us. So that's the kind of point that they're getting at. So your Mayans and Incans and Aztecs, they would have been like getting pissy with each other and having fights, but they wouldn't have thought of themselves much different than we would have now. So yeah.
I've never actually heard that take on like what a civilization is.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of do think that like you have to have like kind of order, like roads and buildings.
Yeah.
But no, I guess civilization really is just like a group of people. Doesn't even have to be like a big group of people.
Well, yeah, and people have always been playful too. So they always talk about these like the Mayans and Aztecs and Incans. They're like vast trade networks. One of the things these two guys in this book say is like, yeah, these traders weren't just going to trade objects. They were also playing all these games with each other. So there are a lot of objects that we still have that we find from them that they're like little weirdly shaped rocks and things, and we don't know what they're for. They're probably for games. They had like card games and like dice and stuff.
I mean, the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Incas, they used to play like puck-a-tuck.
Yes, exactly.
With like a rubber ball, and they try to throw it into a goal.
Yeah, but even smaller, they'd have, and then they'd go, and you could, if you were a native person, like if you were an Incan, maybe you'd want to go mess with the Mayans because you could play this game with them, and if you beat a Mayan, you could get like basically, it's almost like Pokemon, like you'd get a card from them.
Right.
And so they wanted to go collect stuff too.
Kind of like how we found Mancala from the Egyptians.
Exactly.
Game. Yeah,
exactly. So humans, we've always been playing games. I mean, we have too much stuff to do now. I remember when I was a kid, you guys, I remember when I got cable. I was like, oh my God.
This is awesome.
30 channels. What am I going to do with my time? I remember when I got the internet.
My.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, not at the time, but now it's everything.
Yeah,
now
so
really
just
is
imagine,
everything.
Living 3,000 years ago, you still want stuff to do. People are still looking for stuff. They still want to interact. We're social creatures. So, yeah.
So I guess now building off that, since, they were very advanced back then. But which civilization do you think had the most like?
Well, I could kind of undercut you here because the Mayan, the Aztecs, and the Incans are the descendants of the Olmec people.
The Olmecs, yeah.
Yeah, and
I remember reading about that. And they're still around, aren't they?
No, they fell off. Did you know?
They fell off later, or
they went. Olmecs were 1200 to 400 BC. So So they fell off in 400 BC.
And let's see.
Do you know the Mayans and the Incans and the Aztecs? They had wheels. Did you know that? Everyone's like, oh, they didn't. They
had
invented
roads.
the wheel. They just used them for toys. They didn't need them. They didn't need them for every stuff they did. So it's not like they were stupid or not advanced. They had children's toys with wheels on them.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, we don't really need those on a larger scale. It was
No,
just
the Mayas actually they had they didn't use vehicles to travel stuff. They actually used, and I actually written down my notes here because it's a very weird word. It's not, it's in their language. It's translated ours. The Chasqui, these were runners that they had stationed along the roads every 1.5 kilometers, and they would run because the Mayas, they actually had. I'm sorry, this was the Incas. They were only around for a little bit of time, but they still had extremely advanced road networks. They had telecommunication. They had bridges that were suspended. They had suspension bridges, like they would use cables. And these runners could get a fresh fish from the Pacific Ocean, which was about 400 kilometers away, in 2 days to the emperor.
That's insane.
Of the Inca, just by passing that message on. It was crazy how much they would do. But just for, instead of making like a cart or anything, they used people. And that was kind of their way around. And I think that was really, I've never heard of any other like civilization kind of doing that. I know they did that in the Renaissance era. They had like a messenger boy, an errand boy.
Yeah.
And he'd ride on horseback, but using just flat out people.
I mean, you kind of stole what I would say probably, but I think, before I get to like a different one, I think there's so much more meat on the bone with South America still. So right now, we're using LiDAR technology to, because so many ancient civilizations have been grown over by rainforests in South America, and we're using LiDAR technology, which is like this ground penetrating, and we're realizing that like we would have found one pyramid, and now we're realizing it's a network of like 50 pyramids, and it's connected by these huge roads
towns that have just been
and so we've far underestimated the population of South America and how far they go back.
I mean, these were extremely advanced.
Yeah, they're incredibly
civilizations.
advanced. I mean, look, these pyramids that they were making, their road networks, they had a written language.
I mean, look at the Incas' language. It was.
Yeah.
I actually have one of my documents that I prepared for this was.
You've got documents too. Good for you.
Yes.
This
they had the I think it was called a cuica, and it was a bunch of ropes, and we still don't know what they mean today.
We have no idea.
We have not a clue because it's a bunch of, and for the viewers listening at home, obviously, there's a bunch of ropes attached to, I guess, just a point of like origin, and the different lengths and different colors would say something different, and they use that to communicate. That was their written communication. And unfortunately, we don't have much of that because the Incas, one of the civilizations that was newer, and so whenever they were destroyed, their cities were burned, and all of those ropes were caught up in flames, except for the few that we found. It's actually very sad. But, I mean, just to show, like, that is an extremely, that is so advanced that even with all of the greatest minds connected on it, we still have no idea what they were trying to say and what they were saying. They could have been talking about, like, hey, let's go play some Puckatuck later. We have no idea because we cannot decipher it. I mean, due to how little we have, but...
They also destroyed all their codexes. They had these incredible books that they'd written, and the Catholic priests came in and destroyed all of them. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them, because they saw them as like devilry and savagery, and we just destroyed so much.
All because they believed a different system of the world, like what the Mesoamerican people. They believed that the world would do a reset every so often, and that's why they sacrificed people, was to stop the world from rebirthing. Because when the world rebirths, everything is destroyed, and they come back. And that's kind of what the Mayan calendar was predicting, which, once again, I have another document. I actually have two pictures of the Mayan calendar.
Invented zero.
So I read that the Mayans invented zero.
There's a lot of bleed over between the Olmecs and the Mayans, so you could.
Because the Mayans became a thing. I have the years. Mayas was 1500 BC to 900 BC.
Yeah. So.
Their classic period was from 250 CE to 900 CE, though. I don't understand how that time really works.
The Olmecs and the Mayans kind of overlap, so yeah. I mean, I would even build off what you said, like the most advanced. I think that at least the ancient civilizations that were the most advanced and incredible who don't get their due were the Americas, North and South America. So I was mentioning to you before this, like, even the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Incas get a lot of credit, as they should, but I mean, you can go farther north to Cahokia, which is right on the Mississippi River, present-day St. Louis, East St. Louis, actually. They built huge mounds there. Their largest is called Monk's Mound now, because eventually Christian monks moved onto it. Its base is larger than the base of the Great Pyramid at Giza.
Which is insane.
That's insane, yeah. And it wasn't just a big pile of dirt. They built up each level with different materials. That's why they all those mounds, they built hundreds of mounds, but when European American farmers came in, they leveled them because they wanted to farm. St. Louis's nickname was originally Mound City. So Cahokia had more people in it than any city in America until Philadelphia in 1800, when Philadelphia finally hit 20,000 people. At its height in the Cahokia would have been the 1050 to 1350, and around 1300 CE, more people lived in Cahokia than they did London. They had they tracked the stars, and this is another thing, like this is something we've really lost as if we want to talk about like civilizations. We think of ourselves as so advanced now, but in 1300 CE, everyone would have been tracking the stars and would have known the stars really well, because think about it, guys. Back then, we didn't have electricity.
That was their map. The stars were their maps.
At night, the whole sky was filled with stars. We don't see the stars hardly anymore.
Pollution.
So, yeah, they tracked them all the time. So we're always like, oh my God, I can't believe we have Stonehenge, or they built things aligned to the stars. Well, of course they did, because the stars and the night sky was way more a part of their life than it is a part of our life. We're basically totally detached from the night sky now. When was the last time you guys looked up and even thought about it?
Well,
hardly?
in Mountain View, the stars are gorgeous because the elevation's so much higher. So I guess what you're saying is you're inadvertently saying this. You don't believe that aliens had any part to do with.
No.
Okay.
No. Well, okay. No. I do like what I love about the show Ancient Aliens, at least like the first few episodes, is they do a great job of bringing up all of these things about ancient civilizations that we don't understand. We don't give ancient peoples enough credit. We think, because we're going back to this linear civilization theory, that we must be better than the people who came before us. We keep progressing. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of stuff about the past that we just don't understand, and things that we couldn't do. I mean, you see some of these stonework in different parts of the world where they have these 30-ton blocks that they fit perfectly together in like a jigsaw. We can't do that today. At Newgrange, I've been to, so there's this area called Newgrange in Northern Ireland. It was built in 3100 BC, so it's older than the pyramids or Stonehenge. It's a huge mound from the outside, but you walk in to this door and you walk down, and it's perfectly aligned with the winter solstice. So when the sun comes up or goes down the winter solstice, it shines through into this room. And the room's about 10 feet high and 15 feet around. It's never leaked a drop of water into that, and it's just made out of stones and earth in there. And they were able to build this 3,100 years ago. And we don't really know. I mean, you guys have seen we don't know a lot of this. Like, we still don't even know what the pyramid at Giza was. It's not a tomb. No one's buried.
They actually found out that it goes stories deep,
that's
right?
What there are. Yeah, so that's still, that article isn't peer reviewed. So they published this with their science, but they haven't had any other scientists like really look at it closely. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. We still don't know a lot. So I don't think aliens did it. Now, do I believe in aliens? Yes. But I think a lot of times that whole alien thing is just taking credit away from people in the past. Like, well, we don't understand how they did it, so aliens must have come down and helped them. It's like, no, maybe, we've forgotten so much.
So I guess with all of this, what civilization would you say, or I guess group of people, would you say during this time was the biggest? Like the
biggest, most powerful?
The most powerful, like the most advanced.
That's a hard one. I'd say the Americans, North and South America. It's kind of a cop-out. Here's how I think of it. If I had to live at any time and place, I probably wouldn't want to live any time or place but right now, because it would, except
change everything, yeah.
Except I'd be okay with Native America, North or South America. Like, so if we're talking like a large city or civilization, probably Mayans or Aztecs would be fine. But who the real people I'd want to be are the Pacific Northwest Indians. So they didn't have major cities as we know them today, but they were super advanced and civilized. They had incredible bounty. They didn't have to farm very much, like west coast of present-day Washington. They had incredible bounty, everything they wanted and needed. They lived I mean, another way you can always track like a quote civilization is if they create art, because that means they have extra time.
And writing and language.
Yeah. And so that's how they were able to create these totem poles and stuff up there, is because they had all this extra time, because they didn't have to spend all their time hunting
on, like,
and
Facebook.
fishing. Yeah. Well, that and hunting and fishing, just trying to survive. So, Europeans would criticize them sometimes, be like, "You guys are lazy. You just get up at 8, and then by noon you're just like sitting around painting and stuff." It's like, well, yeah, because we don't need to do anything else more to survive then, and they didn't have these ideas of like you have to go to work or
Conquering,
serve some king or something. They all just kind of work together. So like, now if we want to talk about just like brass tacks, the most amazing things that were happening, I mean, we can say that with even the Americas as well. Have you guys ever heard of the Great Serpent Mound, present-day Ohio?
No.
It's this 1,300-foot long mound. It's like 50 feet high, and it's shaped in the shape of a
snake.
And it has a curled tail, and it's aligned perfectly to all these different stars and different solstices.
Okay.
And it was about 900 or 300 BC. It was created, and so I guess we just have so many examples of the American people in deep South America, North America, everywhere, just doing all this stuff that we haven't given them credit for. I mean, they just found human footprints in New Mexico from 25,000 years ago. That's the other thing. We don't even know when people came over the Americas.
How do you even find that? How does that not erode?
It's out in the desert. It's out in this special white sands desert in New Mexico, and as wind blows through, it takes topsoil off. And they can even tell it was like a mother carrying her child on a hip. Well, first the child was walking next to her, and then she picked the child up, and you could tell, and they were chasing after giant sloths to hunt them.
How can they tell this?
Because they see the giant sloth prints, and they see the human prints, and they date them with carbon dating with fibers and things in the footprints.
This is insane.
Yeah, and then so this just totally keeps. We don't even know how humans got to the Americas. We don't know.
Wasn't it like theorized that it was the ice bridge?
That's out. But that was one migratory wave. So initially they're like, yeah, humans came over like 18,000 years ago on this ice bridge, up from like present-day Russia through Alaska. Well, here's the problem. Then they found human remains down in South America that were 18,000 years old. Well, they're like, no way they're going to come.
No way they're going to move that much.
Yeah, now they're finding stuff up to 27,000 years old just recently down in South America. What now we're thinking is people came as long as 30,000 years ago. Okay, well, how? We're finding all this stuff on like the west coast of South America. Now we're thinking they probably came over by boat. People in Japan and a lot of Native American peoples share a lot of genetic similarities because they were in these incredible boat crafts people, and so they could navigate with the stars. So we don't know.
Okay, that's I like I said, I only got like the bare. I actually hated history. No offense.
Make you like it, not taken.
No offense, but
you have to just have the right teachers.
Yeah, my history teachers were great.
Okay.
Shout out Miss Strahan.
Dang it, sorry, Miss Strahan.
But she was amazing. But that was like modern history. I never really got a good grasp on my AP U.S. history class. We touched on, I think, ancient American cultures, civilizations, like maybe like 3 weeks. It was an online class too, so I wasn't paying attention. I was in 11th grade.
No, I would have been.
I wanted to go home and play games.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to do that. But I mean, that was years ago. I'm like 35 now. I have the show, but that's just one of those things. Is history is we don't know anything about it, and that's kind of why it's fun to look at what we have here, and that's kind of why I chose to do this topic. I feel like this has been a very good debate, and so far it's been very informative.
I'm loving it.
I'm enjoying this. This is good.
I mean,
it's good to have somebody on.
Musa?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Richest man ever.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. He was the Mali Empire. That was pretty. There are just so many. It's hard to just say which one. Pick one. I mean.
Yeah. That's why I had to pick three. I had to go
like
with three.
The Sumerians are pretty impressive. Have you guys heard of Göbekli Tepe?
No.
I'm not.
No. What is that?
Okay, modern day Turkey, 9,500 BC. it's this city that we didn't really know much about, and they just started to unearth it more. And they were like having these huge structures that we thought wasn't possible back then. They're charting the stars. It's visible the way if you look at it from space, it has all these weird shapes that it's and so. But the problem is like it goes against a lot of long-held traditions of civilizations and how humans developed, and it goes just back to what I'm talking about with this Dawn of Everything book, is that to really understand the past, we can't, especially ancient civilizations, we can't try to push our modern ideas of civilization on these people, because they might have been like thinking like us, but they didn't think about the way order and society works the way we should. They didn't have to. So just look into Göbekli Tepe. It'll really
Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, Goblekitepe. Yeah, Göbekli Tepe, if I'm saying that right.
I think that's part of why it's like so much fun to just imagine like saying the aliens did. Say aliens did do it.
I mean,
because but the thing about history is the more you find out about it, the more it changes everything we think we know. And so you don't really like you said, we don't know when the first people came to America or if human life started here as well.
The Nazca lines, are you guys familiar with those in South America?
No, what is that?
So another learning time.
These giant, they're only visible from space. They just discovered like 50 more of them using AI. So they ran them through satellite images. And they're of all these creatures and stuff. I mean, guys, huge, like half a mile long image carved into the ground of like a bird and like humans and people, but they're only visible from space.
That's insane.
So why are these ancient peoples?
How were they doing this?
Yeah. And then in South America, they're finding similar things where they're. So it's really sad right now in South America. They're cutting down this rainforest.
Yeah.
But a weird, not positive, but side effect is they're finding these same kind of things where these ancient people where they were digging these huge, like we call them like moats now, huge like quarter-mile long circles.
Kind of like canals.
Yeah, but that's not what they were for.
Yeah, they weren't for water. They were just to make a picture.
So they don't know, like, what were these? It would have taken so many thousands of man-hours to do this. And they're like, what? So
what was the purpose?
Yeah, if you wanted to believe it was aliens, you'd be like, well, yeah, they're trying to say something to
maybe they were just creative.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I kind of lean, or they had some purpose. I mean, with Stonehenge, we're still not totally sure. In England, we know now where they got the first rocks from. They were like 200 miles away, and they dragged them all the way from Wales to Stonehenge.
That's insane.
Yeah, and so.
What about Easter Island?
Oh, that's okay. So, one of my professors in grad school has just been doing work on that, and what they figured out using a lot of archaeology and anthropology is that the Rapa Nui people who live on Easter Island, A, they haven't been there that long on Easter Island, but B, they first came there using the stars to chart. Some people came there first and then went back home and like told them about it, and they were able to use the stars to find it. The thing about Easter Island though is a fellow professor and me on campus, Glenn Jelinek, we led a study abroad to the UK, and we were in the British Museum in London, and we look over and there's one of these giant Easter Island heads, and we're like, what's that?
The Mauis?
Yeah, the Mauis. So we're like,
yeah,
we're like, what are these? And then you read it, and they're like, well, we came here in the 19th century, and these just kind of, it was laying there, and we just took it. We wanted to preserve it. And since then, the people from the Easter Islands have come over, like, we want this back. Like, this is a part of our heritage. And the British are like, yeah.
As the British do.
And so then they were like, we're in conversation with them. They're never going to give it back. Well, I'm in the Smithsonian this winter, and I go up, and we have one too in America. And they were like, yeah.
So how did they get here?
What do you mean?
Like how did
we get them here?
How did the Mauis get here? Didn't they all originate from Easter Island?
No, they're immigrant. The Mauis, the Easter Island there was nothing there. There's no people were living there like 600 years ago.
Yeah,
it could be off there, and they come and they start farming. They start farming. What was it? I was just watching a thing about this, like different starchy foods and stuff. But it was a really hard life. But we don't know why they carved all these heads.
And then some of the heads ended up in, like you said, Europe and America.
Yeah, they stole them, because that's what we do. You know the joke. You know why the pyramid at Giza is still in Egypt?
It's too big to steal.
It's too big to steal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing. You go to London, You walk down on the River Thames, they have a dang obelisk there from Egypt, and they're like, "Oh, it was a gift." You go to New York City, Central Park, we've got one too. So we just like to snatch
take
all
people.
this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
It'd be really cool to have a time machine and just go back and see.
Oh,
Really.
it would be incredible. You know, they have a reconstruction of the Parthenon in
The Greek Parthenon.
Yeah, in Nashville. Full reconstruction of what it would have looked like, painted and everything.
That's actually pretty cool.
Did you guys know that? I'm just gonna keep saying. Did you know? Like ancient cathedrals, like medieval cathedrals, they were originally painted all kinds of bright, garish colors on the outside: pink, blue, green, white. Now they're all gray because the paint's gone away. But yeah, because they were like these huge monuments, they wanted to impress everyone with them.
Red 40, red 40. All the coloring. And
Oh yeah, okay. I was like,
except
what's this?
theirs was natural though.
I mean, and then there's like far out stuff. You guys heard the show Ancient Apocalypse?
No, what's that?
It's on Netflix. It's hosted by this guy who's just a journalist. But his theory is, and this goes back to like a 19th century theory that's pretty much debunked, but it's not totally out of the realm of possibility, that there used to be these ancient civilizations like way longer back than we realize, but they got wiped out because they were on the edge of the continents where you would have been. And there was a massive event that made the Great Flood. There really was a Great Flood event, but that made the sea level rise, and it wiped all them out.
So was it a meteor or a flood?
That's they don't know. That's the big thing.
See, so I heard people saying, "Oh, it's a meteor! It's a meteor! It caused so much smoke in the atmosphere they couldn't breathe, and that's why life only lived in the water." But we don't really know.
Yeah.
So actually, this brings me. This is a good segue point to. I feel. You know, you were talking about people in history have always gotten things wrong, right?
Okay.
And there's just there was a really big thing like that actually happened with the Incas and the Mayans and the Aztecs, and it really kind of, you can tell it was definitely because of like a misinterpretation of the language. But I'm sorry, I'm just in a really good mood and that's why I'm smiling.
I'm smiling too. Now you're making me smile. Okay.
But basically, it determines this was the end of like kind of their civilizations and like their rule over the land, their towns and their cities.
Yep.
And it was basically due to a mistranslation. We thought that the conquistadors actually came in, raided, and killed the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas, but it was actually. The conquistadors were actually a conference, a team in the European Conference, and they'd actually beaten. I actually have the transcripts here. I have one for you.
What's this?
And I have one for you.
Boy.
One for you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, John Debate.
And I'm just gonna kind of, the audience can't really see this, but the first one is
basketball.
The first one is the conference championship against the Sun Warriors and the Storm Kings.
Okay.
Team Tanatui and Team Tylok. Basically, these were just kind of like modern day basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
The rules were kind of similar. They played best of 7. And it was just kind of like they had a 3-point line, everything. It was actually very advanced. We don't really remember any of this from
How'd they
back
build the
then.
ball? Like,
I don't know, but
it's crazy. Okay.
I think the ball was made of a different material. They didn't really talk much about that, but I just want to kind of like go over this a little bit because this is kind of new information.
This is incredible. I didn't know.
Yeah. Me and Bart actually
this kind of rewrites
kind of
our
pieced
whole
this
history
together.
of like American sport.
And it's
So
like,
I wasn't here.
Really, where did basketball really come from?
Wasn't here last show. I was out there. John Debate sent me on a mission to gather this information.
Actually, it was last show I was able to do.
Everything.
This
I
is
I
big.
played basketball through high school. I mean, I just didn't know. I haven't been given this its due.
If you pay attention, there are also descendants of
kind of like big timers.
Yeah, all
like
stars
big
now.
timers like Lizamelt Zametezen.
LeBron James.
Yeah, he was the LeBron James of his time, and you can kind of look back and see that.
It's for the
butchering of the names.
Of
course, these are not my. Of course, you can even see game. Like this was like the transcript I handed you. This is Game 7.
Yeah, I saw this.
And it was a 148 point to 102. Tylok lost, but it was an absolute domination.
It's so coddle.
I believe his.
Yes.
Michael Jordan?
Indubitably.
Yeah,
that would be Michael Jordan's.
the descendant of Michael Jordan
Yes.
and LeBron James.
Another few
On the
big
same
names.
team, unstoppable.
obviously there are some players.
Durant.
It's kind of crazy how far it goes back, but Larry Bird, one of his ancestors was even on here. I think he was a reserve though.
Yeah.
It's very sad that his ancestors didn't get that much play time, but even
he definitely made up for it whenever Larry
Bird
started playing.
He definitely did make up for it.
Did Joel Impeshli, did he get hurt? Was he wearing his head like his ceremonial clothes on the sideline there? On their team Swallock?
It was a lot going
Joel
on.
Embiid's descendant? Isn't that?
This was.
You said which one?
The number 2 on their team Swallock.
That is Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he play?
Yeah.
Did he get hurt?
he probably
Did.
did.
Ceremonial clothes on the sideline?
Probably something with his eye again. Who knows?
Probably. Okay.
I mean, if we just, like I said, looking at the Tylock, they were really underperforming. Like this was like people were calling this the night and day game back then. Like this was supposed to be the game that was going to really set back, because the players of great skill, and whoever lost, obviously their heart was ripped out and they were sacrificed to delay the inevitable.
Yeah.
But so all this great talent, thankfully they had their offspring, or we wouldn't have modern NBA. But I mean, even just looking at big names such as let's see, we had Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, I'm pretty sure that is Shaquille O'Neal's
How tall
ancestor.
were these guys? I mean, 'cause
Had
usually
to be
Mayans and
9 feet.
Aztecs they were like
These had to be some. These had to be some big people. I mean,
Mayans
because
today though are like 5'1".
because if we look at
5'3".
Well,
They
a
must
lot of things happen.
Yeah. Okay.
if we look at where is it? Yeah, I mean, Lizamelt and Giannis, they threw back-to-back windmill dunks, and
That's
I mean,
incredible.
Macaulay.
Oh well, we got the whole game transcript.
Macaulay
I
even
told you
hit-
I had a lot of digging.
Macaulay
A lot
even
of
hit a
digging to do.
fadeaway in Cahoodle's face, and he whispered "too small" to him. That's what they.
Something else.
That's something that I mean, Bart, can you go ahead and look at the fourth quarter? I mean, what did Pitson say?
What?
What
No,
did-
I just said this is my what?
Hold on.
Pitson. He says,
He-
"Wow,
he-
this is my era too."
Yeah, he hit that. He had a putback dunk, and
That's
148 to 102. I mean, he was really
that's
showing at the
pretty
time
brutal.
that this was his era as well. And this was a big game for the time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because this meant that for the first time in a while, we were going to have the Aztecs were going to have a good team. The Sun Warriors were going to go to the conference championship. They won their bracket, but that didn't really go too well for them. As you may remember, in history, this is one of the only parts about this that is right. The conquistadors did bring over smallpox
They did. Yes.
during their game, and
So
it was
the
all it was normal.
Conquistadors were another team.
Yeah,
So that's,
they were from the European
oh wow.
yeah, European Conference.
Well,
yeah.
I would think Lucal would be on that one then. I see a
I-
player here.
they
called
did do some trades.
Okay.
There were some trades that went on.
Luke Hall,
We don't have I don't think we have the transcripts of the trades. Sadly, I would love to have that. I think that might be
Lucal
uncovered.
Tocic.
Maybe in the future. I think.
The GOAT.
Lucado Tocic.
Yeah, Lucato
Sorry,
Tocic.
excuse me.
I think.
Nah, you good?
I think there was actually
They
a
probably
big.
traded him.
There was I
think-
remember when I was
Conquistadors, I heard
inscribing.
they just traded him.
Yeah,
They
when
did.
I was
They
looking at the
did.
transcripts and going through the ruins and reading,
Yeah.
there was a
Very-
major upset over that trade from
Very disappointing trade for
the
no
Sun
reason.
Warriors.
For no reason.
No, it was that was uncalled for completely.
No.
Just to put him on the bench.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard that the conquistadors, their king citizens at the games at that point were saying like off with his head.
They
after he traded
really
him. Yeah.
they really wanted him gone. I actually think that's why the coach he got beheaded.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I don't really blame him.
Me either. I
I
mean, the
wouldn't
coach
either.
kind of. I mean, look, I'm just saying. Once that coach was gone, I mean, look,
Something's never
the
changed.
Conquistadors
Yeah,
did make it to the conference
History
final.
does indeed repeat.
The Conquistadors they did make it to the final, right? I mean, that is something big,
Yeah.
and they actually ended up. Spoiler alert.
Bloodbath.
They ended up going on and winning. Although
Spoiler alert.
this was, look, just for a little background, we're going over the second game right now. This is a big game, conference finale. This was going to be the Sun Warriors' first title.
Oh, here it is. Oh, I didn't see
Most
this.
teams never did really get one final. They never really got one championship.
Yeah.
Garm. They didn't do rings back then. They did. They did Garms. But the score was 3-3, championship. This was for all the marbles. Like this was the big game,
It-
and this was about whenever Team Tanatui, this was whenever the Sun Warriors actually started to feel the effects of the smallpox, and that is ultimately what led to the downfall. Because, I mean, 131 to 114, they were right there. They were so close to victory, and I know that if we would have went back in time And if we would have stopped them from getting smallpox, maybe some immunity. Like I said, this is back in the day. They weren't the first time in the conference, right? These players didn't have any of that, like that smallpox immunity, that like those white blood cells. And it's just just going through the first quarter. Tanatua, they opened strong.
Really quick to interrupt. I mean, this like makes so much more sense now. When Rudy Gobert at the beginning of COVID was like mocking, and then he was like licking the
messing with the microphones in the
stuff.
set.
This is just history repeating itself.
Yeah.
He was
Literally
trying to do the same thing. The conquistadors did. He's like, I want to win this championship. I'm gonna do this one. If I have to give everyone COVID to do it,
just
and
been done before.
There were actually a few things written about that to see like maybe that there was foul play involved, and of course, eventually it was kind of concluded that there was, and the conquistadors were not allowed to play anymore. They were actually dismembered. So like Hernan de Sabonis, Rodrigo del Brunillo, Santiago Balcazar, Gaspar, Hernan Gomez. I mean, all these amazing, talented players. Sadly,
Well, I mean, you just see it in the game plan here. It's just they're sluggish.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
turn the ball 6 times.
6 turnovers.
The conquistadors are full court
during
press.
halftime, like the conquistadors, they were leading 65-54, and like Tanatu, their rhythm was broken at that point, right? This was third quarter. They start off, they go full court press, like Tanatu. They turn over the ball six times.
In the
Shaquille visibly weakened. He actually had to get subbed out for somebody on the bench. Something that never happened in his career, by the way. He was always a very healthy, very strong player. He was a very dominant player on the field. I mean, he was. People would see him, they would cower. This was a big guy for the time, right?
I heard
he had hands the size of the ball.
Yeah.
He broke over 20,000 backboards.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the backboards were made of rock back then.
He was that strong, John Debate.
This is
you're just like, I tried to kind of like break your guys' minds with the idea of civilization earlier, and this is just.
See, like this was new, right? You didn't you hadn't seen this yet.
No.
I was letting you just yap about your,
we were letting
your knowledge.
It was
Why
very,
don't we have
very
a 30 for 30 on this? I mean, this like changes just.
This is big. I mean, I think the hardest part about this is in the third quarter when Rodrigo del Brunillo, when he dunked on Tepechi, and he just stared him down. He didn't even say anything. He knew he didn't rub the wound in deeper. He just kind of sat there and just let it marinate. It was really just heartbreaking to see that happen, because this was their big game, and I'm pretty sure, looking back on my records, sorry, I'm trying to.
I just saw a thing here that Mikhail Itzkodal said he took it personally.
He
in
did.
The fourth quarter, and he rallied, scored by 12 in the first 4 minutes, but he just became over fatigued.
Yeah,
even for him.
I mean, he tried, right? Like this was. Look, I mean,
that's
as you saw,
probably
Mikel and Lizamelt, they were.
He probably is. Oh yeah.
You remember where he had apparently had the flu?
It was the flu game.
Yeah, the flu game.
Yeah.
I hear Mikhail had a lot to gamble. He was gambling on this game too.
I think he might have. I think he might have put a few gold coins on this.
Yeah.
But I mean, his wife declined, and many of his kids declined as well. But you know what was great about this? I mean, Lizamelt, after that, his son, Brony, actually got some attention.
Oh, he did. Good.
Yeah, he got to play.
Unfortunately,
his team did lose pretty early on the next year, and he was also sacrificed at the altar.
Oh.
I mean, just a talented family, really, to see go. But at least he had kids, and his kids actually ended up staying away from the sport until we see his ancestors.
A kid from Akron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Aztec to Akron.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy.
This was really reading this, finally like, uncovering this hurt my heart.
Yeah.
Because these players, they didn't get a second chance, right?
No.
It was over.
It was just life or death.
But they did prolong the rebirth of the world. So I mean,
they did.
They did get a conference title.
It was a real sacrifice.
They did get a conference title.
They did what they had to do.
That's something that most Aztec, Maya, Mesoamerican teams from the Mesoamerican Conference, they can't say they did that. I mean, the Olmecs, like you said earlier, they had a few. I'm pretty sure they had won a few championships.
And they had the last laugh too, because I mean, European league's nothing now compared to the NBA.
No.
But we're experiencing a problem now, guys, because most of the best players in the NBA now aren't from America.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
They're from Europe.
Exactly.
We've got another kind of conquistador.
Nikola and
Luka.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
one of like Nikolai's how do you even say his name? He's best in the league right now.
Yeah, he is. Nikola
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, Nikola
yeah,
Jokic.
but his ancestor.
One of his ancestors was actually. I'm trying to.
Was his ancestor not on the Conquistadors?
They
They must have traded. Did they trade him too?
I
Man.
think he was actually he was for the Storm Kings, I believe. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think something happened.
Yeah, number 5 on their team.
That checks out though.
Nikado Jokic.
Yeah, we've got
Very similar name to
it
father.
is.
or
Well, and
his
the
ancestor.
Storm Kings
Yeah.
also even had Tlaloc Nohutski, which is Novisky's
I'm trying to find that one right now.
Team Tlaloc Sun Kings.
Oh, Tilnok Nohitsky? Yeah, that was actually, I'm pretty sure that was Dirk.
Yeah, Dirk's
Nowitzki's,
ancestor.
yeah.
that's-
And like you said, Joel Impecci, that was Joel Embiid.
It's crazy. Just
And even Jimmy Butler is it Zemilchin Sampantli.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
yeah.
Jimmy Butler's great ancestor, and at the altar sacrificed.
all just gone.
All
It's
that
amazing
talent.
It's a good thing they had
It's good.
kids
It's a good thing
or-
them genes were passed down, or we
Yeah.
wouldn't even have Larry Bird.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the GOAT, Michael Jordan, or King
LeBron
James.
Okay, let's make sure you get
Don't
him
worry,
in there.
don't worry. We had to get the dimension out there.
You know.
It's also just incredible, how you have these generational. We call them generational talents, but they're really like
This is ancestral
this is
talent.
like
yeah.
ancestral,
It's a shame we don't.
millennial talents. Like
Yeah.
I mean, Shaquille broke 20,000 stone backboards.
oh, that's something.
No telling how many poles he broke.
That's what I'm saying. Growing up until he was into the league.
He was,
Do you
he was
think
put in the league
Mikhail had
immediately.
like its coatls, like little sandals.
Probably, yeah.
He definitely had
Yeah, like
he had some
specials, like
shoe game, if you will.
game. Yeah.
He
Did they
definitely
wear
had
shoes
he had
like
some
that?
special. I'm pretty sure there was a pretty big shoe company, Nike,
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
How that's
I'm
like
wondering.
they
Yeah.
they were like nice like athletic sandals.
Gosh.
Even some took some inspiration from like moccasins almost. They had like special like dye designs.
That
And it would
makes
look
sense.
like it would kind of look like tie dye in our
Mm.
modern day.
Okay.
But back then it was kind of like a show of like games won. So Mikhail, these guys all had like the Sun Warriors all had extremely colorful shoes to show. It was kind of like their garments when
Yeah.
they'd get when they'd win a game.
Did they ever go north and try to mess with lacrosse with the farther?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't
they
think they
don't.
did.
Yeah.
I think
Kinda
they
like
tried to stay
basketball
away
and hockey
from
today,
anything they could have
kinda
lost.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. To be fair, if my culture was you die if you lose, I wouldn't. I'd stick with what I'm good at. I would
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
not venture out.
Do you
but-
think we're gonna go back to that in the NBA now? Or are we just gonna go back
I-
to just full
I feel like our civilization
sacrifice?
is too lame
yeah.
to
Yeah.
like have any real
That's like-
consequences.
That's like giving somebody a death penalty. They don't win the game, you know.
And that's bad enough because we have the internet nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already get joned enough.
Well, everything on the line.
Yeah, I mean, if Larry Bird was around when the internet was around, I mean,
Yeah. Like
Dude, they were Larry Bird was drinking beers after games, 4 games.
yeah.
and that's why he was so good.
Yep.
Yeah, drunk shooting threes.
He was drunk shooting threes.
Drunk shooting
Imagine what
threes.
he would have been like if he was sober.
Man, you know what? I think I can do
Larry
it.
Bird. Let's give a quick shout
Larry
out to Larry
Bird.
Bird.
You
Larry
guys are
Bird.
Larry Bird fans?
A little bit. I've heard of him.
He cool. I like
He's chill.
I don't really pay attention to him as much, you
I'm a
know.
Luka guy. I don't know. I'm
You like
trying to
Luka?
think of my new favorite basketball. I don't like Steph Curry very much. We've kind of won me over.
Steph
No.
Curry's kind of like
What?
falling
I've been
off.
st-
I know,
what
he's
you
so
mean? No,
good.
he's not.
He scored 38 points.
He's
last night.
averaged 50,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
40 to
that's
50
nothing.
this season.
That's nothing.
I mean,
That's
not this
nothing.
season, this-
I mean,
this month.
Steph,
He's my
Steph Curry's
height.
ancestor was actually on the Sun
6'1".
Warriors. Steph Curry's
6'3".
ancestor was actually on the he was on
He's
the Sun
6'3".
Warriors.
6'3" on a good day.
Now,
shoes
Chris
change a
Paul
lot.
is your height.
Yeah, Chris Paul is my height. I do not like Chris Paul.
Why not?
Dirty. Guy's a dirty player.
Chris Paul is he?
He's not on
Is he
here,
not on the list?
unfortunately.
No, I mean,
James
Anthony-
Harden isn't either, and I love James Harden.
No, James
I mean,
Harden.
we even had
Oh,
Anthony
James Harden.
Davis and like Giannis. Their ancestors were.
Yeah,
even
I think
on
we
this.
accidentally left them off because I know they were in the document that I was
No Anthony Edwards on
talking,
here.
but they were
Anthony
reserves.
Edwards, his ancestor is too busy
Ah.
taking care of his kids.
You played too much.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. Of course, I am John Debate. Bart Jones was here as well.
Yo,
And a special thank you to Mr. Dr. Von Scribner. Thank you for educating us and having this debate with us.
Yeah, my mind's blown about this.
I mean,
I don't ask her.
take it
That
over,
stat sheet,
get a
man.
good look at it. I mean, hey,
This
that's
is
yours
worth
to
a lot of
keep.
money.
That-
yeah,
yeah, it-
Yeah.
Don't go
know
showing
what I
up
had
to
to
too many
do to get
places.
that?
Though.
I
I still have
can't
to,
imagine,
I still
no.
have to get my own version published
even
before anybody else is able to
know,
publish
yeah,
theirs.
Framing this statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course we'll be here next Wednesday at 4 p.m. God allowing. Once again, shout out to all of my intelligent viewers. If you were not intelligent and you were kind of stupid and you listen to this, you kind of disobeyed every other request.
Come
I
on,
had.
John DeBay. Come
But
on, man.
I'll give you grace this week. Yeah, just be safe, and I'll be here. I'll be here next week. You better be here.